First of all, thank you for the invitation. I'm sorry about the technical problems, but it seems to me that we were able to cope with it. My name is Alvaro Cabrera, and my colleague Gábor Molnár is also with me. He's one of the developer of the system, which I would like to introduce you now. And I hope that we can start the presentation. May I get a feedback? So can you see the presentation, the first slide?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, so first of all, we are from Hungary. The Hungarian Parliament is a unicameral parliament, and we as a country part of the European Union. So when we are speaking about legislation activity, we always have to be conform with the European law as well, not just the Hungarian. And let's start with Parlex, which I would like to introduce you. Parlex is a parliamentary document and process management system. And we are very proud that we won an award 3 years ago, the Best Practices Award of the European Public Sector Award, they call it.
I apologize for the interruption. Apparently, the slide's not moving, so we're still it over.
Okay, so and now you can see I start again.
Okay, perfect. Now we can see. Perfect.
All right. So, Parlex is a parliamentary document and process management system, and as I have mentioned, that we have won a prize, European Public Sector Award, 3 years ago, and of course we are very proud of it. But to be honest, we didn't predict that it will be so a key factor during the COVID times that we have such a system. Because during
apologize for the interruption again. We're still seeing the cover of your presentation, not the slides. Mm-hmm. We're seeing the first one.
So, and now, yes. Can you see?
Mm-hmm. Now it's perfect.
Okay, and now?
Now we can see the second slide about Parlex, and now, yeah, perfect.
Okay. So during the COVID pandemic situation, it was a key factor that the Parlex system was ready and it was in use. So it was one of the most important backup system that had to maintain the Hungarian National Assembly's activity. So that is one of the reasons why I believe that all the different developments has to be done in time because you cannot predict the future. And it became a very, very crucial one, just like in any other kind of ICT solution. So a little bit about the past. We started 8 years ago, approximately, this entire development. And we use an agile project management with cross-functional working teams. And the project team was based on 10 outsiders, 10 IT experts, and 20 colleagues from the office from very different departments. And finally, 2016 and approximately 2017, we were ready with this system. And we introduced it in 2 periods. First for the key users, and then with continuous training, which Gábor Molnár, my colleague, was very active and still active to train this system for the users. For years, this is a functional one, but we always develop it. So what are the core functions of it? So it's basically a parliamentary document and process management system, and both of these are very important. It handles with almost all parliamentary documents, including bills, different amendments, interpellations, questions, and so on. And these can be edited on the correct way. It means that, of course, an interpellation or a bill are very different, and all the bills are regulated by law. I mean, the texting and the structures and everything. First of all, by the fundamental law, which is the Constitution of Hungary, and also regulated by the parliamentary law, and also regulated by the rules of procedure of the Hungarian National Assembly. This system allows the users, MPs and the government to table immediately the bills when they are ready or in a scheduled time. So there are different scenarios when they need to do that. It would handle with different roles. So you can be an MP, an MP's assistant, the ministry, a lawyer in the ministry, and you have these different opportunities to work all together parallel sometimes in the same time using this system. It is based on an XML standard. We can say it's an international standard, but of course we know that it's also a parliamentary international standard. And it's also an important part of it, maintain data security. And it is based on a centralized user management and the rights granted by roles and groups, which I have mentioned. So there are a lot of different actors with different authorities using this system. For example, when they are work remotely, there is a two-factor authentication control. And there are other secure parts of this system. For example, you can anytime download your work, your data, and there is also permanent saving the database. Just imagine an MP working from a remote place, writing his or her amendments or bills. So it is a secure system, so there is no data loss. And there is also an adjustable structure of the screen. As I mentioned, for the different user groups, they are using different screens based on their different permissions and different tasks they have to fulfill. And to go deeply to the system, what this system can do, it can import text from Word, because most of the people are more familiar with Microsoft Word. On the other hand, because of the fact that in the Hungarian system, we mainly amend existing laws. So that is the reason why the Parlex system is also migrating data from the central legal database, which is official database of all the laws, and these are in force. And it's using templates, different templates to do that when the data migration has done. And there is also an automatic cross-reference management. I will show you a few examples for that. This is the document management part of it, and let's continue with the process management. Because we also, with this system, we can handle the different working papers that needs to, for the legislation workflow. For example, different committee papers, or when we are unifying the amended bill and so on. So the different so-called working papers are also handled with this system. There's an alert function of it with the deadlines. I believe this is probably one of the most important things. And which is also important that there is a data exchange with other internal information systems, especially with the parliamentary information system. I will show you a few examples for that as well. And there is an automatic text update function, which means that in any time we can get quasi and consolidated text of a bill. So it's very useful as well. Let's jump into the deep details of this system. On the left side, you can see the structure of a bill. And on the left side, you can see and you can edit the text. This example is when it comes from a Word.
I apologize for the interruption. We are seeing slide number 3 yet.
I'm sorry.
We're not seeing this slide yet. Thank you.
So now can you see?
We are seeing slide number 8.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so it's about editing and submission of the legislative proposal.
Exactly.
All right, thank you. As you can see, this smart system can automatically build a structure. So no matter it's come from a Word or you start to write in this system, in this system, it can make the structure. It's very important because it's a must according to the lawmaking bill in Hungary. Let's continue. I hope that you see this, the recognition of the structure, because as I have mentioned,
Not yet. It doesn't pass the slide.
Okay, so I will
Perfect.
do that. Yeah, I'm sorry. So you can see on the left side the structure of a bill, and the system can recognize the structure of the bill. And on the left side, on the right side, sorry, you can see that you can create new structural elements. For example, you have to write a new chapter to existing law or different sections. You can do it very easily. And you can see this is in Hungarian because it's exactly from the real software. So you can see the real one. All the English parts are, of course, or translation to it. And I will use this kind of a trick to be sure that you see. So it's also can mark all the correction when you importing the text, the legal text. It's very important because sometimes there are older laws and sometimes the wording is a little bit different. But of course, we always have to follow the updated and recent rules of lawmaking. But these are, of course, formal mistakes, and this system could correct it. And another slide, which is about the references. So it could handle different references inside the text of the legislative proposal, and it's an automatic recognition. For example, the purple ones, the inner connections, and the blue one is when the reference is another law, another act. So you can see these two examples. So these are connected to each other. And if you would like to amend one part, it will show you, I mean, the system, that you have to do something with the other one. So these are connected to each other, just to simplify. Of course, I'm sorry, I have to simplify the system. And what you can see now is an electronic submission, a bill. And this is an example how it generates metadata and how from this system goes the data to the parliamentary main database. So on the right, you can see the time when it was introduced, it was submitted, I mean this bill. And here you can see, this is the government's bill, so you can see that different officials from the government, and also the title of the bill, and it goes automatically to the parliamentary database. So we believe it's very easy because you don't have to type it. So it's paperless, and our colleagues just need to check it whether it is good or not. And it's also an important function that it could handle with the different amendments that members writing. You can see one example for that. It's also important, of course, I have to underline that I made this presentation a little bit cherry picking because there are a lot of features and I had to pick up a few ones. So these are just a few ones. But finally, during the final vote of a bill, we always need a unified version. And this, as I mentioned, in other stages as well, it can make a unified version. But this is the version when all the amendments are voted, so we know what will be finally in the text of the bill. So the final voting has to be done over this one, this text. So it can be done using the Parlex system, and it's also deals with the different amendments and different errors, formal errors in different stages of the legislation procedure, especially at the final stage. It's important. I would like to say that beyond all these features, it's very important that in the Hungarian system, all the lawyers and all the colleagues are always reading from letter to letter, from word by word, all the wordings and all the text. So it doesn't mean that everything is automatically done. I mean, it is done, but it is always checked and controlled by the relevant actors, especially your colleagues. So these are the main features of the Parlex system. And now, thank you very much for your attention. Sorry about a few technical problems that occurred. And we are very open to answer any question.